Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which you have the pleasure of talking about the T6E1 Grizzly. I decided to make a video on this tank simply because in World of Tank Blitz it has a special history. Because the tank you're seeing right now is the main reward for the newbies when they accomplish the tutorial and special missions only given to newbies. And yes, when you do them all, you will be able to get that tank for free in your garage, and trust me, it's kind of a juicy reward. When it comes to this tank, I feel like Wargaming did a pretty good job, and for several reasons that we're going to talk about after. But first, let's talk about the statistics. When it comes to the mobility, you have an amazing one. 42 kilometers per hour for a tier 4 is amazing. On top of that, your gun is insane because you have 10 degrees of gun depression, a good 150 alpha damage, good penetration, and the armor profile, guys. The armor profile is also really good because you will be able to bounce a lot of shells without necessarily angling your tank, which means that this tank is definitely newbie friendly, which is totally logical because it's a tutorial tank given away to new players completely for free. Now that being said, why is Wargaming making that tank that strong? And there is a specific reason for that called entertainment. What I mean by that is that when you're a newbie and you just download World of Tank Blitz without hearing of it before, the first 1 or 2 hours you're going to play are going to determine if you will or not stay on the game. And in order for Wargaming to keep their player base, and especially the new player base, they decided to give them an exciting challenge at first, because you don't get the tank granted for free like this. You still need to complete missions, but once you're done with the missions, your main reward will be the tank. This way, as the missions are requiring you to play at least maybe 20 or 30 battles, you will have a taste of what World of Tank Blitz look like, and you already know at that point if you want to play or not. And to reward you for this, Wargaming is giving you a special premium tank that will first allow you to make some credits at the beginning of your game, but at the same time that is extremely fun to play, simply over the fact that it doesn't lack of anything. It's not like they gave away a tier 4 that was kind of trash. No, here it's a really strong one, and if you manage to play properly by sticking in front of your opponents and using your 10 degrees of gun depression pretty much all the time, you should be able not to die and to have good games. And if you have good games and if you're good at a game, it's increasing your psychological factor. You're going to like the game more simply because you're good at it. And that's it. This is pretty much why this tank is good. And I feel like for this, Wargaming did an amazing job. The T6E1 became what it was supposed to be at first, a strong tier 4 with the hull of a tier 5 Sherman. For the curious OGs out there that still want to get the tank, it's coming back in the shop from time to time, so you will have just to wait probably for something like €3, so definitely worth it offer. But if you want to take a look at the statistics in order for you to get a taste of what this tank is capable of, here they are. You have a really bad accuracy, but as you saw during my replay, you don't necessarily see it on the battlefield, same as the small shot, because you have 3.9 seconds of aim time, 0.37 of gun dispersion, your DPM is 900 per minute, reload time 9.9, average penetration at 90, which is quite good for a tier 4, and 125 with your gold shell, which is insane. Average damage 150, 10 degrees of gun depression, which is something really exciting about it. When it comes to the mobility, 42 kilometers per hour, which will do the work. And this is how I'm equipping my tank. Maybe I should go for this one here. No, you know what? I don't ram, so yeah, I'm definitely going to go for the defense system. This is pretty much how you want to equip your tank for those of you newbies that don't necessarily know how to equip it because you just unlocked it. And finally, for the armor profile, this part right here is extremely angled and also armored, which makes it really hard to penetrate, as you saw during my first replay. Now, I would like to talk with you about what this tank is lacking of. And to me, despite the fact that it seems to be one of the craziest tier 4 I've ever played, I feel like it misses something, or maybe it's actually on the tank. I did not play enough games for me to know, but a preferential matchmaking. Because I feel like if Wargaming purpose is to keep their player base entertained, and especially the new players, they should definitely make this tank have a preferential matchmaking, like it's the case for the Panzer B2, for example. Briefly, for those of you that don't know what a preferential matchmaking is, in World of Tank Blitz, it's the ability for one tank to be top tier every single time. It's the case for the Panzer B2, with which, as a tier 4 tank, you will never encounter any tier 5. And I feel like it's important for Wargaming to put this tank at a preferential matchmaking, because by doing this, you will keep your player base entertained. They will be happy, and obviously a happy player base is a player base that you will keep. That being said, the main problem of doing this is that it would kind of ruin the matchmaking at tier 4. Because if that tank was impossible to acquire through the shop, then yes, it could work, because even if it's a strong tank, only newbie will get it, and therefore not necessarily skilled players. But the thing is, as it's possible to get it in the shop, when OGs will get their hands on this tank, they are going to ruin the tier 4 matchmaking, because this is literally one of the strongest tanks, as I already told you, at tier 4. Now, how do you want to play it? Quite simple. You want to use your 10 degrees of gun depression, try to work from the reach line. Obviously, it's not going to work all the time, simply because the slightest angle on the sides will get you penetrated. But as long as you stick your hull in front of your opponents without trying anything dumb, you should be able to bounce a couple of shells. But don't count on your armor too much. Even if it's quite a strong one, it's still troll, and sometimes you're going to bounce a lot, and sometimes you're going to get penetrated like you were a piece of butter. Of course, one last thing that is important to notice, and its aesthetic, is how Wargaming improved the characteristics of this tank. Because the first time it was introduced into the game, it didn't have those white bands and those special items, the 5 right here or the 2-1 right there as well. And I feel like Wargaming did a great job, because they made it historical, which is the whole point of World of Tanks Blitz at first. Obviously, now that we have Blitz Nation tanks and all those kind of things, it's not the case anymore. But at first, Wargaming was selling the game as an historical tank battle game. And of course, in historical, there is historical. And having those kind of tanks, even if I don't know if this tank was used, but at least having some historical aspects with some tags writing on the tank makes it feel a little bit more comfortable playing it with, because you will respect your historical accuracy a little bit more than when you're selling an Annihilator or even a Smash. That's it for today, guys. I don't have anything else to say about this tank. If you have the possibility of getting it, truly you want to get it. It's an amazing tank, and it should be cheap. If you're a new player and you manage to get that tank, don't sell it. Even if you're bad with it, just stick with it. Try to learn how to play the game, because it's truly not a bad tank. You will just have to learn how to play it correctly. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and I'm going to see you soon for a new battle and a new video and a new stream. We will see. See ya.